I am Brother John Allen Green, a Franciscan friar and a hermit from Johannesburg, and this is my weekly podcast, Reflections from the Hermitage.
Whose image do you see? Jesus asked. What is this image called? How is it known? It is the year Million, on our way and quickly becoming. And the question is asked, what will it mean to be human in this distant future that has already begun? Science fiction writers, brainiac think tanks, and serious long-term investors are equally inventive in their beliefs. Science takes a look at our present-day morphing, extrapolates this into the future to give us an image of what we will look like in that future. I myself have just had new artificial lenses implanted into my eyes to experience the miracle of 20/20 vision with all the vibrant colors that had slowly faded out of my life. Now there are the knee replacement that I need to have done. For many of us out there, the list is much longer. There are hearing aids, dentures, implants, pacemakers, gastric balloons with the odd nip and tuck. In this amazingly short time of a lifespan, this has become the new reality of who we are. We may well ask, at what point will we be classified as no longer original and the warranty become void? At what point will we become integrated with our smartphones? I think that as we become more and more intoxicated with the idea of remaking ourselves, the image of who we are as humans becomes ever more blurred. Besides being plugged into virtual reality for longer and longer periods, the slick and the clever sales pitch, you can do anything you want, requires an immersion into alternative truth that is both salacious and addictive. Science predicts that at some point, in this already but not yet, we will find virtual reality so enticing that we will choose to remain plugged into the matrix as pure consciousness, without the encumbrance of a body. Will we still be human? And so Jesus' question is relative to our questions of today. Whose image do you see? What is that image called? How is it known? With the sexual revolution of the 1960s and the dynamic metamorphosis of who we are and who we are becoming, traditional relationships are also being discarded as both burdensome and irrelevant in a postmodern age. Postmodernists argue that we no longer live in a modern world with the predictable, orderly structures such as the nuclear family. Instead, society has entered a new and chaotic postmodern stage. And in this postmodern society, family structures are incredibly varied, and individuals have much more freedom of choice in aspects of their lives that would have been relatively constrained in the past. New technology, the internet, social media, email, and electronic communications have transformed our lives by dissolving barriers of time and space, transforming patterns of work and leisure, an accelerated pace of change, making our lives less predictable. Whose image do I see? What is this image called? How is it known? Our ranting and railing against this new age, our fears that build walls between peoples, and the safe boxes of our dogmas and creeds cannot and will not change this future becoming. It is already here. Indeed, many of our past assumptions and classifications have caused irreparable hurt and damage to so very many of our brothers and sisters and to the world around us. As we struggle with this ongoing transformations, new dimensions are unfolding that require both a humble and a compassionate stance. So the question becomes, what does intrinsic human dignity mean? How is this related to the world around us, to creation and the animal kingdom? Do I indeed have a transcendent vocation that is inherent to this intrinsic human dignity? Is this transcendent vocation the mission of a privileged few that fit neatly into my category of redeemed? Or is God's love perhaps much wider, God's mercy much wider, perhaps even open to all of creation? How I answer these questions will become for me the framework within which I choose to live my life. And for me, this is Jesus as God's revealed love. This is the image that I hope to reflect. This is the compassionate anointed one, the revelation of God with us, in whose image we are made. The image of Jesus, the Christ who came to bring hope to those who were considered sinners and outsiders. We do, in effect, become the image of our belief. And I think that our image, our mission, is to reflect that image into the world. May the Lord grant you his peace.